Have you had a moment where you discover or explore things by yourself? Like Milo, he tried to distinguish whether the feather and ball drop purrs as his teacher allows him to discover it. As he observed, he understood that the ball drop purrs. This is one of the examples how learners generate insight in their own learning. But what are could be a factors to strengthen modern knowledge constructions? Let's continue watching this video. We will learn the role of constructivism in facilitating learning. Constructivism is one of the most influential educational theories that focuses on students' knowledge construction. On the other side, people construct their understanding and knowledge through experiencing things and making reflection from it. The ways to see can be done through incorporating new information into their pre-existing knowledge. And as for education, constructivism has a big role between the relationship of teachers and learners, which teacher is letting or giving the learners an opportunities to explore and discover. We have a two views of constructivism. First is the individual constructivism, which largely based on Piaget theory, and the proponent this is child discovery. It is the theory that learners can build their knowledge individually and interact with the material. For example, painting, building blocks, or individual play. This belief that learners should be allowed to discover principles through their inquiry, rather than direct guidance from teachers. The second one is social constructivism that emphasizes knowledge exists in social contexts and initially shared with others instead of being represented solely in the mind of an individual. As individual constructivism based on Piaget theory, this one related to Vygotsky theory. Here, knowledge building is shared by two or more people. According to social constructionists, opportunities for interaction and exchange between learners help shape and refine their ideas. Also, knowledge building becomes social rather than individual. In certain characteristics of this theory, learners are active thinkers who interpret new information based on what they already know. Constructivists do not view learners as just empty vessels waiting to be filled up. They construct knowledge in a way that makes sense to them. Another characteristic of the set theory, new learning depends on current understanding. It is through the present views or scheme that the learner has that new information will be interpreted. Brought by social constructivism, learning is facilitated by social interaction. Constructivists believe in creating a community of learners within classrooms. Learning communities help learners take responsibility for their learning and assist learners in taking ownership of their own learning. Learners also have numerous opportunities to collaborate and cooperate in order to solve problems and discover new things. Teachers serve as facilitator rather than expert with all the answers. Furthermore, within authentic learning tasks, meaningful learning occurs. An authentic task is one that involves a learning activity involving the construction of knowledge and understanding that is so similar to the knowledge and understanding required when applied in the real world. For example, a writing activity where 6 years old prepare a checklist of things they need to do in school is more an authentic activity than for them to be working only on tracing worksheets with dotted lines. As some theories can be applied in facilitating learning, constructivism is not an exemption. This theory can be used as an approach to ensure effective learning. Let me give you classroom application of constructivism theory. Hands-on activities are ideal for incorporating constructivism, critical thinking, and learning into the classroom. Keeping a daily journal allows students to compare their observation with those of other students and shows that different backgrounds and culture create different perspectives and should be respected. Some approaches for using constructivism in the classroom include letting students collaborate and helping each other answer each other's questions. Another technique is designate one student as the expert. on the subject and teach the class. Essentially, the environment should integrate constructivist classroom application within a few fundamental principles. The first is establishing and preserving one's intellectual identity. This pushes pupils to defend their own beliefs, essentially taking responsibility for their statements while still appreciating those of others. The next step is for the instructor to ask open-ended questions and offer time for pupils to think about and evaluate a response based on their experience and personal inquiry. Open-ended inquiries and critical thinking push students to seek more than a simple response or basic facts and justify and defend their collected views. The next step is to allow students and teachers to communicate constantly. The participation generates a discourse of comfort in which all ideas may be explored and understood, and students feel confident criticizing other hypotheses, defending their own, and banking real-world circumstances with abstract, supporting facts. These constructivist exercises and classroom application will enable children to develop the skills and confidence to analyze the world around them, create solution or support for developing issues, and then justify their words and actions while encouraging those around them to do the same and respecting differences in opinions for the contribution that they can make to the overall situation, whether at an early or late age. Constructivist classroom application deepens student and instructors' understanding of the learning philosophy. Now, it was very clear that relevance of constructivism as an approach to facilitate in learning. It disregarded the concept of students as container to be filled and neglected the passivity that they might take into the world. Thus, we should encourage learners to be actively involved in their own learning.